afternoon, everyone. This is another episode of Insurance Talk Show. I am Bola Adegbaju. We are going to be talking about professional indemnity insurance today. I know we have a lot of professionals out there, and I want to enlighten us more on what we can do to protect our business. So when you are talking of professional indemnity insurance, this is a particular type of insurance that is meant for all professionals. Depending on the kind of the profession that you are in, you can protect your business. This particular insurance covers the policy holder, that is the particular person that we are talking of, the professional we are talking of. It protects the person from every cost of damage, all damages that the professional has caused due to his or her negligence. You have a service, let's say you're a medical doctor now, and you treat somebody, maybe you prescribed a wrong drug for the person, and definitely it has caused the person a lot of damages. So that's a professional negligence on your side, and this is a type of damages that professional indemnity insurance covers. It may also be an advice. Maybe you advise somebody wrongly. It covers your professional negligent services or professional negligent advice. Any profession can take this type of policy. It also protects an unintentional breach of copyright. Maybe you use someone's picture in an advert without permission. That's a breach of copyright. As a professional, maybe photographer, as a professional artist, as a professional social media person, if you use somebody's picture in your advert and you don't take permission from the person, then that's a breach of copyright, and you may be sued for damages on that. This particular insurance will cover that cost. It covers the cost of those damages that you have incurred due to your negligence. Now, don't be surprised. Under professional indemnity, claims can be brought against you, even if your service or advice is free. You are advising somebody, maybe the person is your friend, and you just feel that let me give you a piece of advice for what you are doing. It will help you, this and that. You may even be doing it for free of charge. That does not stop your liability, whether it is free, whether it is paid for. If there is a damage that is caused through your negligence, then you'll be charged for it. So it doesn't matter whether it is free, it doesn't matter whether it is paid for. I mean, the services you are rendering, whether it is paid for, you will be liable for any damage that is caused due to your negligence. Another thing about this professional indemnity policy is that it is on claims made basis. That is, it must be during the time of the policy, the term, the period of the policy. The fact that you have retired does not mean that a claim cannot come against you after your retirement. So it's always good to do a run-off policy. You take a run-off policy even when you are retiring. Let's say maybe into 6 years after your retirement, because under professional indemnity policy, you can be sued even 6 years after. A client can still make a claim into 6 years after your retirement. So it doesn't really mean that because you have retired or you are no more in the profession, that's the end. You can still be liable. A claim can still be made against you. Something you have done 1 year before your retirement, 2 years before your retirement, Even it can run into 6 years before your retirement. So it is better you protect yourself. Because you have retired does not mean you should forget about your responsibility. You have to make provision for anything that could have happened in the course of your active job, in the course of you working. It doesn't really mean that um, you must be in the job. You must still be working before people can make a claim against you. They can make a claim 2 years after, 3 years after, 4 years after, if they have genuine claims. So, who are the people that need to take this professional indemnity policy? We have a lot of them. Professionals, I have examples here. There's one thing I always say about this type of policy, and that is nobody is perfect. You can make a mistake. Anybody can make a mistake. We have seen doctors who have been in the business for years, 20 years, 25 years, and they still make mistakes. We have engineers who make mistakes in their structural development. Let me just say structural designs. They make mistakes. We have seen them. And this building will collapse. It's not that they don't have experience, but maybe something went wrong somewhere. Or maybe they bought something, a product that is not very good, not of good quality. So it can affect anything that you are doing. As a dermatologist, you can get a product that is fake, that is not original, and it will affect the skin of your clients. So we really have to make provision for all these eventualities, as we call it in insurance. Okay, for instance, now I said medical doctors, like a medical doctor that prescribed the wrong medication for a particular ailment. We have heard of such cases a lot. You diagnose somebody of headache or of malaria, whereas the person has something else. So, and you'll be treating the person for malaria. So, medical doctors, you need to take professional indemnity policy. A diagnostic laboratory giving a wrong diagnosis. For instance, a blood group, somebody is O positive and you're saying the person is O negative. That would destroy a lot of things in that person's body, in the body's, in that person's system. If you're supposed to transfuse blood with O positive blood group and the person is O negative, that will be a lot of complications. Even genotype, it has happened to me. There was a time they diagnosed that I am AS. Another laboratory said I am SS. I am AA. You understand? So I needed to go and confirm again before I could know my genotype. So it happens in several ways. So as a diagnostic laboratory, you need professional indemnity policy to cover your negligence. As an accountant, an auditor, you can mistakenly give a poor financial advice or financial report, causing the client to miss out some opportunities. If you give a wrong financial report of an organization, you know how it will affect that organization. It will affect the business, it will affect a lot of things about the organization. So if you are there, you are an accountant, you are an auditor, you need professional indemnity insurance. We have architects too. Architects can make mistakes in drawing up plans for a residential extension, which does not comply with planning permission, and this results in the client having to demolish and rebuild the extension. So if you give a wrong advice to your client as an architect, this area you are talking of is not on the plan. It's not on the government plan, and you advise your client to go and build there. By the time they discover and they have to demolish, they have to rebuild, is a cost. And that is your negligence. It's as a result of your negligence as an architect. So you need professional indemnity. I know I have a lot of estate managers that I do professional indemnity for. I have them as clients. You need professional indemnity as an estate manager. You manage properties, buildings, structures. As a nurse, you fail to document a patient's care or medication administration. Like you take the vitals of a patient, you're supposed to record everything at intervals, and you don't do that. The next nurse that is taking over from you doesn't know what to do, how to go about the treatment of the patient. That's a professional negligence on your side. Your negligence can close your business. Your negligence can cost a lot of things. In as much as you are struggling not to be negligent in your profession, then you also need a protection, against your liabilities. You're a civil engineer, you're an electrical engineer, you're an IT person. Okay, some of the ways that an IT person incurs a professional indemnity claim is by, not protecting your client's network very well. You develop a software for your client, and cyber criminals can hack into the client's network and cause severe damage. That's a professional negligence on your side. So as IT person, there's still something you can do to protect your negligence and business. So what are the exclusions? As in the exceptions, we call them exclusions, we call them exceptions from the policy. If you take up a professional indemnity policy, what are the things that are not covered? I'm just going to take up general exclusions, and these general exclusions are the common ones, like suicide, especially when it is between the first 12 to 24 months of the policy. Then, as execution of a judicial sentence of death. If there's a sentence of death by law, and the person is meant to be executed, then this professional indemnity insurance will not cover that. If you are involved directly or indirectly in war, in riot, or civil commotion, then it is not meant to cover you. The policy will not be liable for anything that happens. So, and terrorism too is not covered. Terrorism is not covered under professional indemnity insurance. So you must note all this, because a lot of people will say, at least I have insurance, it should cover me. The insurance company should pay. No, insurance company does not settle all claims, all losses. There must be a cause. There must be a reason, for that loss. And we are interested in the reason. Insurance is always about fortuitous situations, something you never planned for, something that occurs suddenly. You understand? So if insurance company is asking you, how did it happen? What happened? This and that. We want to know the source, the reason, the cause of the loss. So don't be annoyed if we are asking too much questions. Now, I want to go to some questions I have here too. As a client to a professional, how do you know you have a claim? You have a professional advisor, like a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, you have them. So how do you know if something happens and you want to lodge a claim? How do you know that this is a claim? This is something that I must claim for. Number one, you must ask these questions when you are considering it, when you are thinking about it. You have these three questions that you have to ask yourself. Number one, does the professional owe you a duty of care or a contractual duty? You have two types of duties. You have the duty of care and you have the contractual duty. Whichever one, does this professional hold you this duty? Number two, has the professional breached that duty? As a doctor, the duty of the doctor is to make sure that you are well, you are treated for what you have gone for. What did the doctor do to breach the duty? What mistake, what did he do to breach that duty? Has he done anything to negate that duty of care that he has for you? You must ask yourself, has the professional breached the duty? Then number three, have you suffered a loss as a direct result of that breach of duty? Okay, since the doctor has breached the duty of care, did you suffer any loss? Because he might breach the duty of care and you did not suffer any loss. So what are you going to claim for? So it is important that there must be a loss as a result of the breach of that duty of care. So those are the three things you must be able to ascertain before you can say you want to make a claim on the professional indemnity insurance. Then another question is, what do you do to avoid professional negligence claim as a professional? Okay, now I'm talking to the professionals now. How do you avoid all these claims from your clients? It's true you have a professional indemnity policy, but how do you avoid your clients claiming on this policy? The answer is that you have to ensure you document your professional advice. It's one thing that I would just suggest to you, because if everything you are discussing with your clients, all your communications are documented, you are on the safe side. You have evidence of everything you have discussed with your client. You advise the person to do this. If the person does otherwise, you have a record. So keep record of everything that you give to your client, every advice, every communication. Keep a record. Do not depend only on verbal communication. Document everything. Even when you have said it verbally, make sure you write it down officially and you communicate to the client. What happens if you don't have professional indemnity insurance? As a professional, you don't have professional indemnity insurance, then your business is at risk of folding up, because if there is any damage, it may cost you the whole of your business. Or the other alternative is that you will be held liable. You have to pay for the damages from your own purse, since you don't have any insurance to fall back on. All the losses, you bear them, and at the same time, it may cost you your business. You may not be able to do that business again. It may cost you your certificate. Like some professions, they will withdraw your certificate of practicing. Then the limit of liability is given by the policy holder. It is you as the professional, you as the policy holder, that will say you want this to cover this amount. I want to cover myself for 10 million professional indemnity limit. Some professions is an association that will give them the limit. Some associations will require that you must do for so amount. I'm going to be rounding off for today. This is Insurance Talk Show. I am Bola Adegbaju. Till this time next week, think business, think insurance.